Greetings. Today I'm going to tell a tale about listening to your Spidey senses when things seem off, even if it's something kind of new to you. I decided that I was going to sign up on a site called Upwork. Upwork basically is a different version of Fiverr, where you get to put in your profile and then you get to tell the program or the site the types of things that you're looking to do. And so I decided to try to make a little extra money. I was going to do either writing or editing or proofreading. So I set it up for that. You answer a lot of questions, you put in a lot of different things, and then you put in a rate, an hourly rate, which is different than what I expected because Fiverr, you usually put in dollar amounts at a certain time, but I put in this hourly rate. And I decided that as someone with more than 6,000 articles, someone who has helped edit a major best-selling book, a movie script, and another book last summer that went live, as well as my own books, I decided that I was not going to start at the low level. I didn't start at the high level either, but I started at a level that I figured, you know what, this is fair for me. Now, what you do is you go through and you look to see if there's something there that interests you. And for the most part, what I saw were things that were kind of low. I mean, you know, at best, they're talking about $15 an hour. Well, you know what? If I was going to do that, I'd go to McDonald's for $15 an hour because at least you get free food. At least here you do. But, you know, I wasn't going to bid on anything that low. There were some things that were just way out of, I don't want to say out of my league. They were out of my venue. For instance, I'm someone who doesn't believe that if someone wants you to write movie reviews or reviews of musicians and you don't know who any of those people are, you shouldn't do it. I couldn't listen to most of the music from today and write a fair review on it because my tastes are still from the 70s through the early 90s. So it just wouldn't have an impact. If it did, then it would have to be something really special. For instance, someone like Pharrell Williams, I don't know how you say his name, but y'all know who he is. Him, I like Bruno Mars. So I have a few here and there, but it's very limited. So anyway, I had bid on one thing. I hadn't heard anything on that for like 4 or 5 days, heard nothing. So I went looking through and I found another one. And I thought, well, this is interesting because it said something about editing an article. And it had this rate out there, and I said, you know what? That rate's higher than what I said that I would do, so I will undercut it a little bit. Now, my friend Mitchell Allen later on told me don't ever undercut when someone has a certain rate out there. But, you know, I was looking just to get something, to get a project, get it done, and hopefully get a good review and move on from there. You know, you always want to get that first score in. So I did that. And couldn't find anything else, so I shut it down for the night. And then I got an email the next day. And the email came from someone, didn't know who it was. They said, I saw your profile, I saw the bid you put in, and we're very impressed with your credentials. We would like to do an interview with you. I didn't know that Upwork did interviews. I still really don't know if Upwork does interviews, but I said, okay, fine. And it said, we've sent you something via OneDrive. I could not remember what OneDrive is until I asked a friend of mine and said, it's with Microsoft. I said, oh, that thing. No, I don't want to do that. Still, I clicked on the link and it gave me this picture, which was interesting, or an image. And the image gave me an email address and said, reach us on Skype. Okay, so I did that. So I hooked the person up on Skype for me, and within about 10 minutes, they came on. This person came on. And they said they wanted to send me some interview questions, and they were going to send it through Skype. There's another thing I didn't know, that you could send files through Skype. But I thought that was kind of weird because they had initially sent me the email address. So I asked them if they could actually send it to my email address, and they wrote back and said, no, we have to send it this way, which didn't make any sense to me. So I wrote my friend Mitchell and I said, hey, you know, I asked them if they could send an email. They said, no, they wanted to send it through Skype. And he said, well, Upwork actually has its own thing. Ask them to send it through that. Well, before I got to that, they sent me this file. It was a PDF file. And I went ahead and opened it. Now, I got lucky because there wasn't a virus or anything in it. But at the time, I wasn't thinking about it. If someone sends you a PDF and you don't know who those people are, you most probably shouldn't open it. My thought was, well, they're coming through Upwork. It's got to be okay. So I went ahead and I opened it. And there was these series of questions that wanted me to answer. And you're answering kind of in what I call essay form. It may be a one-paragraph answer or a multiple-paragraph answer, but I did it. This is my normal thing. And because they said it as PDF and I couldn't write on the PDF, I decided to reprint. I went to Word and I retyped every question and changed the color of it and bolded it. And then I gave my answer underneath it. So I did this. It came to 2 full pages, because that's how I am. And I scanned it and I sent the pictures back. And it took them about 30 minutes to look at it. And then they said, yep, you're one of the people we want. We're looking for 6 to 9 people to do this project. And we're going to be sending you a letter for your approval, an employment letter. And I said, okay, but wait a minute. What about Upwork? I mean, how does that work with Upwork? And initially they ignored the question. And they started telling me about the project. And the project was going to pay even more money than what I had asked for. And as nice as that sounds, I already had the thing about the PDF. Now the Spidey sensors are saying, something seems odd about this. I mean, they've never mentioned the amount that I put a bid in on. They want to pay me more. And they're talking about this thing, working with other companies and this thing, how COVID-19 shut things down. And so they're looking to get it back together again. And I'm still wondering, something about this. I'm not really sure. So they start telling me more about the project. And here's what they get to. They get to a point where they say, what we're going to do, we want you to use our equipment. Very careful with the wording. We want you to use our equipment and our tracking software so that we know where the project is. It's going totally through us. And by the way, as it regards Upwork, the first payment is actually going to come through us. So it's not going to involve Upwork at all. But after that, then we will process everything through Upwork. Well, I'm thinking, well, that wasn't what the terms of service of Upwork said they were supposed to do. This doesn't sound right at all. There's something off totally about this. Like I said, the Spidey senses. Then the next part they sent me says, what we're going to do is we're going to send you a check. You go to your local establishment lets me know they're not American. You go to your local establishment and you buy the laptop needed for the project. And you buy the certain software. You let us know. We send you different things. And then we do all this stuff. And then when the project is over, you will send us all of the equipment. Many, many years ago, I got an email from one of my business email addresses talking about some kind of project like this and saying how they were going to send me money to go buy some things. And then after the project was over, that I would send them all that stuff and then they would reimburse me a certain amount. And I said, no, that ain't going to happen. Well, I got total confirmation by these guys telling me they're going to send me a check. They're like, yes, the Spidey senses are good. There they are. I got the final thing. No, ain't going to happen. But now I'm a little worried. Why? Because after I got their email, I started getting all these weird bouncing emails that were hitting one of my websites. And all of them turned out to look like stupid email addresses. I went looking through my site and said, I don't see anything. And they were hitting a certain plugin that I hadn't even really thought much about. And they just kept coming. I asked a friend of mine, Holly, I said, hey, have you ever heard of anything like this? And she said no. And she looked up a couple of them and she said, well, the weirdest thing is I was able to track some of these people and they don't even live anymore. I mean, one of them had died 3 years ago. I said, So it looks like they may have been trying to hack my website at the same time. Luckily, I have a bunch of different protections on my websites or on my blogs. So that wasn't happening. But it was just weird. It was really bad. So then I sent a copy of what these people had sent me to my friend Mitchell saying, okay, This sounds really way out of the realm. What's your thought on this? And in the meantime, I talked to another friend. He said, if you're worried about malware or spyware on your computer, you could shut it down for a while, and let's see what we can figure out. So eventually, I figured out I didn't have a virus. I had an issue. It turns out that if you open anything through the Microsoft Store, it stays on your computer until you delete a whole lot of stuff. I didn't know that. I'd never used anything from the Microsoft Store because I thought I had Skype on my computer, and I still haven't found it. But I thought I had just a regular Skype program. I've used it. I used it last year, but I couldn't find it, so I went to the Microsoft Store. Then it just kept coming up. I close it, and the thing would come up. And I found a couple of other things, and I was just worried that I did something stupid. So I downloaded something called Malware Bytes. My friend Kelvin recommended doing that. He says just run a scan. And initially it wouldn't run, which is what scared him. But I'm one of those people who does research. So, of course, I researched on the phone, and it said disconnect yourself from the internet and then run it as an administrator, and it should work. And it did. It found no malware. And then I found another article to find out how to shut that other mess down. And so all of that was good. So then I said, okay, I'm going to go on Upwork, and I need to file a claim against these people. But I couldn't figure out how to do it. And lo and behold, 15 minutes after I started trying to find out how to write Upwork and tell them that something looked wrong, Upwork writes me. They send me an email saying that one of the projects I put a bid on has been deemed to be violating the terms of service. Therefore, we've removed it. There's no blame on you. You get your connects back. On Upwork, what happens is how they kind of make some of the other money is you get so many connects free to start off with. Every project you bid on is so many connects. And when you run out of that, then you have to pay money for so many connects. I haven't gotten to that part yet because, like I said, I'm new on it. So they refund your connects. If the potential client goes with someone else, you get your connects back. So it's just weird. So Upwork figured it out before I got a chance to get back to them. It was just a stressful day. I had other things going on, and then I had to deal with that. Still, the Spidey senses were telling me early on, and we all call it that. You can call it your karma or the sixth sense or whatever you want to call it, but if something sounds wrong to you, it's probably better not to go for it. It's almost always better. I've listened to myself most of the time over all the years that I've been on this internet thing, which goes back to, late 1995. So, my God, that's almost 25 years. Still, you have to protect yourself. If something doesn't sound right, if someone's not answering your questions, if what they're writing looks just so stupid that your mind just can't comprehend it, don't do it. Treat it like you treat those other scams where people call you online, call you on the phone, and they tell you that you've won $25,000, you just pay us a $100 processing fee. Anyway, that's my story. I bet some of you have stories like this. If you haven't, you've just heard this one. I hope you learned from it. I'm sharing. That's what I do. My name is Mitch Mitchell. If you like stuff like this, hit the like button. Think about subscribing. Never hurt yourself if you subscribe to the channel. Doesn't hurt me either. Y'all take care. Have a great week.